Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. We left off, Dennis Reith was busy exploring the first floor of the mansion and has done considerably better than I think poor John had done. I think that was his first name. Oh my poor guy. Right. We've actually leveled up. We have picked up our second background card, or specialist card. We've gotten 1 extra point of cups. We picked up a gun, and I forgot to mention at the end of the last episode, we also have 3 trick cards. So, yay us. It's looking pretty good. I'll be surprised if we find another trick card on the ground floor. That said, though, we're still going to investigate every spot we can. Our objective of this mission is to obviously explore more of the first floor and increase our pentacles, hopefully twice. Alright, well, let's get going. Looks like we'll be exploring the ballroom next. I love the arcane symbols written all over it. Amazing. I also uploaded the soundtrack to the game. All the floors and the introduction. Merry Christmas, Happy Halloween, everyone. Hope it proves to be useful for you guys. We will investigate that. We're gonna still step on all the spots. There's 2 encounters here. One is probably the dance with the ghosts. I wonder what the other one is. A living gargoyle statue. Your attention is drawn to a large stone statue of a truly horrific and bizarre-looking gargoyle. It sits on a pedestal with its arms wrapped around its legs. You feel a sudden shock shoot down your spine as you notice its eyelids blink open. The stone statue is alive. You fight to control a growing tide of fear that is sweeping over you. It's not a bad check. We only need a 5, and we win with our king. Ooh, shame we didn't choose that card first. Your mind is strong. You've seen things far worse than this. The gargoyle stretches itself out and unfurls its large wings. Notice its razor-sharp claws. Before you realize it, it moves forward to attack you. So, our chance of beating it up is actually better than using sorcery against it, so it's most likely animated by sorcery, but it has a physical body. You decide to hit it with everything that you have. Oh, that's a pretty good hand. We have a 2, but 2 knights and the queen of all different suits. Very helpful. I think we'll also immediately use our trench knife twice, because I can't think of a reason not to. That made our 2 an 8, which is very handy. And we could use one of these. But again, our cups is only 3. If we roll higher than our cups attribute, we will fail the challenge. So it's best to wait on them and not spend the courage until we have our cups up around 4 or 5. Preferably 6, so we can't fail. But 5 at least gives us a good chance. 4 is about slightly over 50-50, right? We need to spend the night. And we win. Ooh, wow, we definitely win. Getting a chance to spend all our face cards. You won the battle. The gargoyle falls to the floor and shatters into small pieces. We've picked up the beggar's coin, so we're going to need to immediately turn this in. It's consuming 2 of our spaces for our wands, and gives us a -1 wands, which means our wands is dropped down to 2. 1 life and 2 experience as well. Let's just dash back with this coin. Again, I want it out of our inventory as fast as possible. I think that was spent down here. We will walk through the zombie passageway. I think we'll actually attack it this time. We're taking a wands penalty currently. I was hoping, ow, ooh, to be able to farm this a little bit, but it looks like this might have been a bad idea. All right, there we go. We win. We get lucky we can get some experience for this. No luck. Oh, to mess ahead in the stake, you actually have to flee it. We'll make a single attempt at that. We should hopefully succeed with a very high score, and looks like we will do so. That lets us stay in place. If you fail a fleet check without a, I don't know the number above the target. I'll take a guess, just as an example. Above like 6 points higher than the target, it might be a little less or a little more than that. You're able to stay in the spot rather than actually moving away. We can't do the hand tapestry, but again, I'm desperate to get this beggar's coin out of our inventory. You decide to approach the singing busts with the cursed coin and free them. You read the inscription on the coin and it magically separates into 5 pieces. You place a fragment into the mouth of each of the busts, careful not to forget the cracked one on the floor. After the last head swallowed its fragment, you see glowing spirits rise from each head and then evaporate. It seems they have left you a reward. 1 experience point. I think one positive gets turned over? No. I seem to always generally remember. Oh, getting one coin from this, and we get a tower, which gives us +1 cups bonus. If we use it, we also get to replenish all courage for any heroic feats that are in inventory that require courage after we use it. The +1 cups, though, makes us very tempting to never use it. And we also have our first trump card. Amazing. That went really well. With our 3 experience points, we'll increase our pentacles by 1. I'll also go back to the main menu just to save the game. This way, if the game glitches, we have a crash, or I lose power, at least the game has saved from this spot. That was too good of a reward not to save the game. Oh, I almost forgot, by the way, don't forget everyone, we also have ghostly music. It only works for persuasion or deception challenges, but it does give us a slightly better chance at getting some talismans. Malevolent shadows. You are surprised by a sudden flickering of shadow that spreads out around you. You feel like you are being choked by some invisible force. Your eyes bulge as you fight to gasp for air and the dark shadows swirl around you. Horror check. Your mind is strong. You shake off the feeling that you are choking and finally breathe freely. Two creatures of shadow swirl around you. You recognize immediately that you are dealing with the type of ghostly creature that feeds off human emotions, fear and pain being the most succulent. You can either stand firm and fight them psychically, or run and hope to fight another day. Remember everyone that so this is normally the only way you can deal with them, but I added this as an option, and it looks like they're both just about equal. This is arguably a little better, so we'll shadowbox them. You throw a few jabs and notice they actively avoid the shadow of your punches. For a second they hesitate, and that's when you realize you can take them. It's going to be a bit of touch and go, though, metaphorically speaking. A long time ago, there was a cartoon I had seen. I don't remember it very well. I don't remember what the name of it was. I just remember 2 bits of it. There was like a prince or a princess who had this incredible fever, and these gnomes or dwarves were putting these huge ice cubes on her forehead, which would pretty much instantly dissolve, and they were trying to keep her alive. I remember a group riding a boat to this tower, and in there they had to fight a shadow, and they couldn't fight it with their weapons, and when the shadow would strike out at them, like it would hit their shadows and kill them, or wound them heavily whenever its weapon, because it was just a pure shadow, would hit their shadows, and they had to learn how to fend it off by using their shadows to attack the shadow monster. It was actually pretty awesome idea. I wish I could remember what it was, though. Where that was like 30 years ago. I seem to remember watching it. Ow. Oof. We've had significantly better hands than this. We don't have any face cards and a ton of wands. We do, however, bump all our wands up to at least an 8. We can take the 10 with our 10. Oh, looks like we might be able to... We do it! Wow! Good for our trench knife. And that's what actually let us win. Holy crap. Let us win, actually. Not many people are afraid of their own shadows, let alone others. Looks like these nightmares should have been, though. Unfortunately, turning that quest in, while very helpful, also delays us a bit. All these turns were spent doubling back and completing a quest. Oh, right, and of course, everyone remember that this is in effect. We drew one of the tokens already. Okay, now what? Well, we have another question mark, so we should probably investigate what that is. 2 more question marks in here. What the heck? An axe-wielding madman. You stop as soon as you catch sight of the lone figure near the wall. You might have thought that he was a statue standing there, as his only movement in the gloom was the slow, labored rise and fall of his chest as he drew breath. Without warning, he bursts out into a maniacal cackle that sends a shiver down your spine. You have no doubt that you are hearing the laughter of the insane. The maniacal laughter is truly disturbing as it echoes around the room and out the doors. We get at swords, we can probably win this, though. Especially if the card revealed was a page. Your mind is strong. You've seen things far worse than this. Well, the madman is one of those encounters which can actually wound us, so we need to be careful here. The gaunt, thoroughly insane man wielding a bloody axe lunges towards you. You are certain that there is no way to reason with him, so you can save the questions for later. So, that's not a good chance to beat him. I want like 2 more swords. We're gonna run. If we fail this, we have an excellent chance of being wounded. It's like a 10 or 20% chance. So I don't want to fight him. We can take heart damage or like hit points, but we can't be wounded if we flee and fail. You decide that you don't want any part of this right now. Oof, that's not a good draw, but it is enough to get us away. We just had to succeed at one of these. You turn and run. As the maniacal laughter fades into the background, you start to feel better. This is the maniacal person, I suppose. Vic is using this in every single encounter text. Oh, we got to stay in the same spot. All right, well, we're going to move around. The ghostly ball. Suddenly in front of you materialize a group of figures dressed in suits and evening gowns, waltzing with partners unhappily around the room. The surprise appearance from thin air catches you off guard and startles you. The ghostly ball is quite disconcerting, even though the ghosts seem to be unaware of your presence. You struggle to keep a rein on any fears that would chip away at your sanity. Well, we're going to need it with what we picked up this time. The ghostly ball is silent and disquieting. You struggle to keep your composure. The deathly silence that encompasses this ghostly ball strikes you as odd. Although the ghosts themselves seem oblivious to your presence, you feel a definite tension in the air. The ghosts themselves seem quite displeased about something. It doesn't appear to have anything to do with you. Then you notice what's so odd. None of the ghosts are dancing. They start to partner up, but then each time the dance is set to begin, nothing happens. We can subtly dismiss them. We can try to communicate with them. We should obviously try to communicate. We could wait until we get another pentacles, but I think we'll do this now. You decide to use your training as a medium to make contact and find out what seems to be troubling them. There is always a risk with this type of action. Do I go for the quick win now? I think we do. Yes! Awesome! This is a persuasion challenge, I think. So we might get a talisman from winning this. I hope so. You make the rounds from couple to couple until you find one that wants to talk. There seems to be a problem with the ball. Maybe you can help. The ghosts explain that the band will not play without its pianist, and they have no idea where the fellow is. You hear a chubby old monocle-wearing ghost sitting near the wall chuckle. With his piano, of course. You contemplate the ghost's meaning, and you suspect that a piano will indeed be the key to this mystery. Well, we know where it is. It's right here. We could go do it. However, this is going to require me having more wands and or pentacles, so we'll leave it here at the moment. Now, this might go outside. No. This is probably a mistake and has a trap down this side. If I was to go south from here, so we're going to go north instead. Plant room. We've seen a Talizrati device down here. It's likely there's a Talisrati in this chamber. Let's explore it. There isn't today. Interesting. Then it's in the attic, would be my guess. A laboratory somewhere. Let's go upstairs to put the second floor on the map. But we're not exploring up there at the moment. We will not survive it. A strange creature in a cage. You think you see something odd, seemingly floating in the air. As you approach, you recognize the outlines of a metal cage hanging by a chain from the ceiling. A pair of narrow-set, almost feline eyes blink open. They glow an eerie red as if illuminated from within. You halt and compose yourself as a sense of dread pervades the room. The eyes seem to pierce your soul. You are confronted with a touch of the supernatural here, and it gnaws ever so lightly at your sanity. Your mind is weak. The creature's eyes find your inner doubts and seem to taste them and draw them out. You struggle to keep your sanity. Locked inside the cage is a strange creature of some sort. It's difficult to discern exactly what it is. It seems to shift and flit about within the cage, always surrounded by shadow. At times, it almost appears to be a cat of some sort. The cage itself appears to be enveloped in some kind of sealing spell empowered by tiny runes etched into the thin bars. A sturdy lock mechanism restrains a door on one side. Someone or something obviously felt this creature was dangerous. We can communicate with it, although I really wouldn't mind having a better chance at that. Let's make one attempt. You sense a supernatural creature of some sort is present before you. Perhaps it is a familiar of some sort? You might be able to communicate with it and figure out how it ended up trapped here. You realize that you might not be able to trust everything it says. Following your hunch, you establish contact with the most general form of the witch's cant that you can recall. It seems eager to tell you its story and wants to solicit your help. The grandfather clock again. Oh. The creature is indeed a familiar. Your training in sorcery suggests that it is of the variety Shadow Familibus, and does in fact exist in a superimposed state of dark and light. It says its name is Greasel Greedygut, and it claims to have been imprisoned in this cage unjustly after its owner was lured to and murdered in this house many years ago. By what or whom, it is too afraid to say and gets very agitated when the subject is brought up. Despite its reluctance to talk, you discern that a sorcerer some power imprisoned it in the cage using a tetraprismodial sealing spell. The only way to free it is to find the key that will open the cage. The sorcerer apparently was a clockmaker of a sort, and Greedy Gut believes that the key is hidden within a grandfather clock somewhere inside the house. Find the clock, retrieve the key, set it free, and it claims you will be rewarded. So we know where two of these things are. I think I want one more pentacles, and maybe another swords, and then we can go and maybe do a few of these. Oh, we're gonna find the knife somewhere around here, and maybe the butcher, and the baker. The thing in the oven! You stop dead in your tracks when you first see it. A large 19th century oven is shambling across the floor in front of you. It seems to rock back and forth, and you hear the loud scrapes that it makes as it hobbles forward. A sudden chill shoots down your spine as you realize that you are confronting something otherworldly here. You flinch in horror as a face seems to materialize and turn its attention to you. Haunted furniture and you never get along very well. Your eyes wide in disbelief as the possessed oven turns to meet your gaze. You must fight to keep your sanity. This is a great hand. Assuming, of course, we don't get all kings displayed over here. Your mind is strong. You'll be damned if you will let this kitchen appliance scare you. Oh, 2 arcane power. I don't think we need it, though. We don't have any spells. The possessed oven seems to rock back and forth as it sizes you up. You could swear you hear screams from souls trapped within the oven, roasting in agony. The creature is the product of sorcery or curse of unfathomable evil. So this is part of a quest, everyone. We're going to try to run. It can't really move that fast. If you can muster your courage, you should be able to get away from it. Sure, we'll play the king. It's not like it really matters for this. You muster all the courage that you can and slowly back away. Before you know it, you are well away. It's a very low chance for you to get anything from fleeing any encounter. This is probably where the knife is. The possessed knife. You look down and see a large knife resting on a wooden surface. Blood has pooled around it, and there are several pieces of stubby flesh scattered around it as well. Suddenly, you see two pale eyes reflected on the surface of the blade. No, not reflected, but rather projected from someplace inside the blade. You recoil in terror from the vision. The eyes seem to pierce through your very soul. They mask a dark and powerful evil will. You shudder and force yourself to resist it. You can feel it probing your psychic defenses. Oh, we are not going to do well here. We have only medium number cards. We reduce it to 1 draw as a penalty. I guess that's not terrible. It has assaulted your mind and found your defenses sadly lacking. Identifies your weaknesses and uses them against you. You gaze down at the knife, but try to keep your gaze from locking on to the mesmerizing eyes within the blade. You feel an oppressive presence in the room with you. The knife radiates pure evil. You resolve to approach this artifact with caution and wonder how many throats this thing has slit. So, it's part of a quest where it's going to try to flee it. The evil presence continues to probe your defenses, seeking to dominate you. You feel that the outcome is balanced on a knife's edge, and so you decide to cut and run. I probably shouldn't actually try to win by such a high number here. We're not likely to win anything, and if I fail, that moves me 1 space for free. You stir yourself to move and break free from the evil presence that lurks within the knife. With one last final mental push, you turn and run. Originally in the game, before the version I think I was playing, Vic made it so that even fleeing challenges might cost you courage. I think a few people complained about that on the forums. It makes sense thematically, but oh man, courage is hard to get. Especially if you're fleeing from encounters. You think that you hear someone whistling at first. The gloom seems to part, and you encounter a figure engaged in a task of some sort. It's dressed in clothes from a previous era. As you come closer, you realize that you are in the presence of something supernatural. The figure is transparent and seems to glide here and there as if floating on air. No matter how many times you see something like this, it is always a bit of a shock. Your touch with the supernatural threatens to chip away at your sanity. Calm your mind and resist the terror that wishes to overwhelm you. Not today. You feel reality slipping away from you just a little bit. Yeah, it looks like ghosts and Dennis do not get along very well. The ghost that you're observing was obviously once a baker. You recognize the distinctive clothing and discern that it appears to be going through the motions of preparing bread for the oven. You sense, however, that it is agitated. It keeps repeating the same motions over and over as if stuck in some type of circle. It pays you no attention whatsoever. Let's communicate with it. Oh, this is lore perception, not persuasion. You decide to make contact with the ghost and listen to its story. Many focused hauntings like this have some unresolved business here in this world. Maybe you can help. Seems like this should be persuasion, not perception, if I'm being honest. You enter a trance and psychically reach out to the ghost. As you suspected, the ghost is caught in a psychokinetic rut of a sorts. It's not fully aware of this, but it seems eager to talk. I haven't any time for you, shouts the ghostly baker. Unless, of course, you can get my oven working again. It's wandered off somewhere, but I need it cleaned and fast. It's time to make the donuts. The ghostly baker pays you no more heed and goes back to his endless preparations. You will need to find this oven and clean it. Well, it's right here. Can't see a reason why we shouldn't do it right now. Oh, can we do it right now? No, we can't. We're actually not going to do this at all. Let's try fleeing again. We need more swords. I don't like this room. Oh, outside. You know by now, everyone, I don't like going outside. Zombies! You have come face to face with the living dead. Actually, I love going outside, but not in this game. Slow, ponderous, and mindless, zombies are still not to be underestimated. They can overwhelm you with numbers and be feasting on your entrails before you know it. Oh, crap, I didn't read the second part. Something about resisting horror, I'm sure. Your mind is strong. You have seen things far worse than this. You finally remember your last mission with Officer Rick. It was utter zombicide. We desperately need the sanity, so I'm glad to see a +2 there. Well, not desperately, but we were low at 12. Zombies, you hate these guys. This place certainly knows how to keep you on your toes. Just don't build a summer home here. So, I added the sorcery challenge in the game, and it looks like it's in our better interest to actually attack them. Just remember to aim for the head. We should use our trench knife twice. We get 2 10s. This is actually a pretty decent hand. Oh, there goes our 10 of swords. There goes our 10 of pentacles. Wow, we don't do it. You didn't take the advice, now did you? Don't let them bite you. We do this again. Wow. We turned over the Queen of Cups and we had a King of Cups in our hand. That was the only really high card we had. I'm glad to simply beat him up. Oh, we can take an Ace of Cups with our 3. How about that? You won the battle. The dismembered zombie bodies still twitch around on the floor, putting on quite a show. Hey, an experience point. Wonderful. It's 4 points for next Pentacles, but I think that's still worth it. This will be the ghostly dinner party, or the glutton demon. It seemed impossible at first, but slowly you recognize the sounds of clinking glasses and the soft murmur of conversation. A long dining table stands in front of you, surrounded on all ends by dusty chairs. As you come nearer, you think you detect some movement around the table, and the hairs on your arms begin to stand on end. It's suddenly very cold. A ghostly face peers out from behind one of the chairs, and in a heartbeat, you see the apparition seated all around the table. The scene twists at the threads of your sanity. I still love this picture. That's an awesome picture. Wish I could get a... Actually, can I take a screenshot of this? Bet I can get that printed. You struggle to comprehend this brush with the supernatural. You have rarely seen this many ghosts congregated before. You have kept your sanity. You hardly feel at ease, but your willpower is rock steady. Guess we're getting used to seeing ghosts. You're confronted with a very unusual scene. You stand before a dinner party of ghosts, who for the most part seem completely oblivious to your presence. Occasionally, you see a ghost looking around as if trying to find a servant. However, most seem fully preoccupied with ghostly gossip and dinner chatter. We will try to interrupt them. You decide to use your powers as a medium to tap your ectoplasmic knife against the glass and grab their attention. Maybe a direct approach will let you start a conversation so that you can gather some information. Of course, there are some risks involved with this approach. It is a persuasion check, though, that will play in with our edge. We might get a talisman. That's actually... that's good. I don't mind failing this with only 1 fail point here. Rows of ghostly heads turn towards you and gaze expectantly. They seem to stare right through you, and then before you know it, the entire group is back at its mindless chatter and pleasantries. We have a chance to lose sanity whenever that happens, but failing by only 1 point means we only turn over 1 card, and because our sanity and life are not so high, it's likely to be either 1 or 2 sanity. If I get like all low cards, I'll just auto-fail. Okay, this is good. I like seeing 2 high cards here. Hopefully we can play one of them. Only one of them, though. Rows of ghostly heads turn towards you and gaze expectantly. You offer a pithy toast, and they seem pleased. Before you know it, you are gabbing away. The general consensus is that the lack of a proper dessert is spoiling the festivities. 1 experience and 1 sanity. You hear raucous cries for dessert, and many of the ghostly guests are looking expectantly towards you. Would you be so good as to find the butler and order our dessert? he wasn't in this area. Although we do see his knife here. This is probably where he's located. I tend to find the kitchen and the servants' kitchen or dining room kind of close together. Oh, not this time. The reading room. The ghost with the cigar might be in this one. A figure in a mirror. You come across an antique mirror. The glass is dirty and streaked, covered in dust, but you catch a glimmer of reflected light off of it. As you look into the mirror to see your reflection, you start to feel uneasy. You simply can't see yourself. It's like you are looking through a portal. Suddenly, the blurry outline of a woman appears. Something supernatural is afoot here. You are startled by the woman's sudden appearance. You realize that you are looking into another dimension, and the implications race through your mind, stirring up distressing fears and emotions. Now, we've had better hands than this. Reducing the damage is the best I can hope to do. Your mind is weak. This strange confrontation with the mysteries of the universe chips away at your sanity. I guess Dennis was mostly called in for the physical missions in the odd. And I guess his friend was called in for the other. Maybe we're actually here to check up on our friend and because we needed him for another mission. The woman in the mirror does not seem overtly threatening, but she is terrifying nonetheless. She floats on the other side of what surely must be a portal. She can't possibly be human. The only word that describes her is ethereal. You begin to hear a low moan emanating from the mirror. The sound is truly chilling, and you feel as if it is trying to paralyze your mind. We cannot actually communicate with it, so we have to flee the mirror. We know it's part of a quest, but we need probably one more wands to do it. Your will proves stronger than whatever strange sorcery the otherworldly moaning is evoking. You step away from the mirror and soon are out of its area of effect. We probably need one more wands and or one more pentacles. Let's see what this takes us to. The Demon in the Fire. You see a large marble fireplace decorated with ornate sculptures, but what really astonishes you is the fire burning within the hearth. The flames dance around and lick the walls of the fireplace, almost as if it were some type of living entity. Then it strikes you. A demonic face appears in the flames, and the sudden realization that this creature has noticed you sends a wave of horror rolling over you. You struggle to keep calm and not give in to panic. You're looking straight in the face of some type of flaming evil horror. It seeks to dominate your mind, and you know that you must not let that happen. However, you're powerless to stop it. Imaginary flames leap up all around you, driving you one step closer to insanity. The panic is overwhelming. The face in the fire smiles at you. This demonic creature must have been bound to the fireplace. How long ago and by whom are questions that you cannot answer. You cautiously step forward so that you can examine the situation in more detail. The demon seems contained within the hearth, but you have no idea how strong his binding there is. So we can try to bargain with it, but if we fail, it's going to come out and attack us. We could banish it, but it is part of a quest, and this is a persuasion check. We'll make an attempt. I don't feel like failing this one. Because we might lose sanity in fighting it. I don't like fighting the demons in the fireplace or the pentagram. So we'll just do this. Using the lost sign language of Childash, you establish contact with the demon. The demon states that it was recently bound here by an acolyte claiming to serve some dark master. It's clear that the demon thought the human insane and dabbling in things that were way over his head. The acolyte somehow managed to find a list of demonic names and binding rituals in some forgotten tome. The demon says that the acolyte would write them on small enchanted slips of paper. He believes his own name to be in the acolyte's pocket. He perished a few short hours ago when he foolishly attempted to summon and bind another demon, but got the slips of paper mixed up. Find the acolyte's body, then bring the name to the demon, and he will reward you. A writhing mass of insects. You notice that the floor in front of you seems to be moving. You step closer thinking that it must be some sort of optical illusion. Suddenly, you step on something and it makes a squishing noise. You look down and see a writhing carpet of insects covering the floor. Scattered around the insects are the bones of their victims. It's not looking good for us. Your mind is weak. You struggle to maintain your sanity. You feel like the creepy crawlies are all over you and start to jump around and try to sweep the imaginary creatures off. You feel ashamed when you finally calm down and realize what you're doing. So, we have a good chance to just step across them, so let's do that. You decide to keep going and carefully step across the carpet of insects as best you can. I have changed this encounter. I think I lowered the difficulty of stepping across it only a bit, and I made it so that if you end up fighting the monster that appears after you fail, it will permanently get rid of it, rather than you having to do this again. You shuffle here and there, careful not to disturb the giant colony. A few try to crawl up your legs to bite you, but they are easily brushed away. We'll probably never have to step on this spot again. We can circumvent that little hallway. Oh, here's the other kitchen area. Token drawn. The Book of Nuisil. When the recovery of the Book of Nuisil didn't pan out like Z-Branch had hoped, Derleth began asking for missions to recover Demonica Ex Libris. You heard rumors that he was forced to retire when his demands became unhinged. Oh, so it turns out my earlier guess was correct. I guess Dennis and Derleth were actually together. Oh, I guess they were D&D. Haha! An occult card game ritual. You see a spent candle placed next to 7 chalk circles. You have the impression that somebody has been playing a game here. You notice the cards sitting in 3 of the circles. A sudden chill shoots down your spine as you recognize one of the cards. Death. Something supernatural is going on here, and you can feel it in your bones. A ritual was in the process of being performed and was suddenly interrupted. You can sense a spirit energy swirling about this place. This hopefully will give us more sanity. We need it. Your mind is strong. You shrug off the effects of the supernatural energy that has been drawn to this location via the ritual that the deck has begun to invoke. That was a big sentence. Oh, I'm not gonna get anything. Alongside death sit despair and darkness. The unseeing eye seems to preside over all 3. This is a very unusual deck. You can't place it exactly from memory, but you think it might have originated, not us, in the Balkans, but you are not sure. You study the setup carefully to decide what to do next. We can try to decipher the key. Let's do this once. You decide to try and examine the card game setup more closely to see if you can identify it and what it was trying to do. Yes, you recognize the deck in this setup. It's clearly the work of the Red Hand. You thought that the cult had been destroyed utterly. Why would a Red Hand divination deck be set up here? There must be a spirit key nearby. You should try to find it. An edge upgrade! Holy crap! Do we want lightning reflexes to make traps better, or do we want to be able to use the knife a 3rd time? I think we'll improve lightning reflexes once. We'll come back. We know where that is as well, in the lower right-hand corner of this place. We'll probably be going upstairs very soon at this rate. Looks like we've got most of the down floor explored. So let's do this. This will probably be the butcher. Or it's an angry poltergeist of knives. You suddenly hear the clatter and swish of air before you can even see it. Then suddenly, in front of you is a supernatural cyclone of razor-sharp butcher knives. It's moving right towards you, and you don't have the luxury to panic. This is actually one of the more dangerous first-floor encounters. That's not in the garden or the outside. You fight to keep yourself calm and not give in to the panic. It can give us some decent rewards, but it is very dangerous. Your mind is weak. You begin to sob and weep in terror. You don't have time for this, but you can't help yourself. You know a poltergeist when you see it, and this is one armed, dangerous, and mad. You know a poltergeist when you see it, and this one is armed, dangerous, and mad. Oh. We're not gonna win. We gotta flee. You muster your courage to turn and run. This thing obviously wants to make a point. We're not gonna be able to do that until we have more wands and or pentacles. The butler's ghost. A tall, well-dressed figure looms into view, holding a silver platter in one hand, as if to offer you an appetizer. Your eyes travel down to the platter and behold half a human head. You feel a surge of panic growing within you. You've been trained to expect to deal with things like this, but we seem to be failing more than normal. Even so, no matter how many times you see something like this, it still requires steady nerves to keep calm. Come on. Pentacles. We need a wands. You can't keep the growing feelings of horror at bay. This encounter is definitely heading in the wrong direction. Head on a platter. Standing in front of you is the figure of what was obviously once a butler or servant. You say once because you are sure that what now confronts you is a supernatural entity of some sort. It is the most corporeal ghost that you have ever encountered. You have read of such things in Tobin's spirit guide, but you are certain that this is very unusual. You approach the butler and his glowing eyes are fixed on you. The head on the plate suddenly stares up at you as well. "May I help you, sir?" It intones, and you are not sure if you actually heard its voice in your ears or just in your head. "Let's order dessert." Without displaying the slightest amount of unease, you inquire about dessert by telling the ghost, "Yes, my good man. The guests in the dining room are getting a little excited about their dessert. Could you head over to the kitchen and see what the problem is?" Oh, that is very nice. That is very nice indeed. "Oh, dear sir, I'm afraid I haven't the time. I'm waiting here to bring the master his supper at the proper time. You can follow your nose to the kitchen and talk to the chef yourself." Come on, give me a talisman. Darn it! I mean, 6 sanity is still very nice, but a talisman or experience would be even better. The butler does not have time to order dessert for the ghostly dinner banquet, as he must wait for the master to serve him his supper. He says that you should go place the order with the chef in the kitchen and then return here for directions. Where is the ghostly butler? Maybe it's in this room. A creepy mortician. You see a human figure lurking in the darkness, and you don't like the look of it at all. It steps forward from out of the gloom. You're confronted with a strange and unusually tall man who towers over 6.5 feet. He seems dressed like a mortician of some sort. He opens his hand to reveal a spiked shiny sphere that miraculously hovers out of his palm. He smiles and a creepy voice says, "I've been waiting for you, boy." You have seen a lot of strange things, but this one is right up there. You have a feeling that there is a story here that is just the tip of the iceberg. We need to pass these horror challenges. We don't want to lose any more sanity. We're up to 19 sanity, which is very nice. Your mind is strong. You've seen things far worse than this. After all, you were part of the first odd team to breach a dimensional barrier. This guy in his gizmo doesn't scare you in the least. The strange man continues to approach you, striding forward with an unnatural gait. The spiked ball now launches itself at high speed towards you. It's either fight or flee at this point. So he's dangerous. He can give you impairments or wounds with a slight chance. I think it's like 10%. But he can give you some decent rewards, too, if you beat him up. We do not have the best chance of beating him at the moment, though. I would want 1 more pentacles or 1 more swords. We will try fleeing instead. You do what any outclassed hero with some common sense does. Run. Oh, we're going to have to do really better than this draw, though. That will do. You turn and run as fast as you can. You can hear the flying sphere buzzing around you, trying to wound you. But then suddenly the sound vanishes and you are away. Oh, but we can't even go in here unless we kill him. Oh, well that sucks for us. So now the question is, okay, what do we want to do? We need to either begin doing quests that we're not ready for, or go upstairs, which we're also not ready for. I think we'll turn in a handful of quests and try to earn some more experience then. We've done everything we can do at the moment. Okay, so we need to get into the lower right-hand corner. There's nothing in those rooms. We could try searching that, but I wouldn't mind waiting just a little bit longer. We will walk down the zombie hallway. That gives me a decent... Oh, no, we won't. Because I don't know if I'll be able to make that head on a stake check again. Oh, okay, we have the pianist. Let's do that now. Okay, so free the... Oh, God. Free the pianist. So this must be what is holding up the pianist. He is caught in a spirit trap that was elaborately constructed in the physical form of this piano. You have heard of such things. The piano is old, but fully functional. The more you examine it, the more you realize that the piano is integral to the trap itself, which must have required a true master of spiritual manipulation to fabricate. You notice that the keys have odd symbols etched faintly onto them. You recognize them as belonging to the lost sculptures of Nag Hammadi. That makes sense. If you can remember the correct release invocation and press the correct keys, then you should be able to disable the trap and free the ghost pianist. If we fail this, though, we're going to get a trap check. And we did not make a good... We do not have a good card draw. We might get lucky with another cups. You can't quite figure this out after several attempts, pressing keys to form the release incantation. You stir the jailer's ire. It strikes out at us. No, we're no match for that yet. We need one more pentacles. Welcome to the world of not taking wands, everyone. It's much tougher to do all this stuff. Okay, so we're looking for the key to unlock the familiar. This is obviously the clock of which the creature in the cage spoke. You decide to start searching it for the key. In addition to the complex gear space behind the faceplate, there seems to be dozens of small knobs and handles that might provide access to interior compartments. We've had better hands than this, but we might be able to do it. You search meticulously for any hint of the key, keeping an open mind as to what it might actually look like. Your attention is drawn to an inscription on one of the gears that reads, E. Schrodinger. You notice that it seems to be stuck, and pursuing the lead, pull a small gold key from behind it. This must be it. So Schrodinger's cat? Really? Oh, Aura Fortune! Amazing. And the grandfather clock is used in another quest somewhere. How about that? We're down here now. We might as well get the spirit key. Find the key. This is obviously the key for the red hand card game ritual that you found earlier. You decide to examine the tapestry more closely to decipher the key. This might be risky. We have a decent hand. And we win with one card played. Everything else we play might get us more points. You almost didn't see it at first, but the key is built into the movements of the two armies of knights as they prance around the battlefield. You quickly note down the corresponding cards and their locations. Thank you, Aura Fortune. 26 sanity, just like that. Wouldn't have minded getting some experience instead, though. Can we talk with the stake? With the 3 pentacles? We can! We can. Or, well, we have... we can, apparently. You sense a desire to communicate with from the head. It almost looks like it's trying to move its mouth. Maybe it's trying to find out what the head wants. Well, this is not going to work. We can reduce the damage we take, though. You attempt to make contact with the head, but your efforts fail. Wow! That got a lot tougher all of a sudden. Thanks, game balancer. We'll try again. Oh, we have 2 kings, though. If we're going to do it, this is going to be the hand we do it with. Wow, game. Screw you, too. Oh, what the heck? Wow! That's terrible. We lost a card of ours. Are you happy? Oh, we can't even flee it very well. What the... We have 26 sanity. The game is now making it much tougher for us. We'll try this again. lost one of our heroic feats. That sucks, game. Wow. Absolutely terrible. Maybe we'll get lucky and actually get some experience for this, though. I don't mind losing that. It sucks, but at least we didn't take a wound. The head speaks to you. Much to your horror, you find out that he was an occultist artifact collector who stumbled upon this place 15 years ago. He wants your help in a personal vendetta. Yeah, that's not worth it at all. But we do pick up the quest. The head was once a disciple of Thomas Vaughan, the 19th century alchemist. Using Vaughan's elixir, he had managed to extend his life immensely. He was searching for Vaughan's orb of transmutation on behalf of the Palladian Order. His search was cut tragically short when he overconfidently approached a cursed guillotine. He thought that it might hide the artifact. In a trance, he placed his head inside the guillotine's lock and ended up in a basket. A mischievous imp thought he would make a nice decoration and mounted him here. He wants you to destroy the guillotine and break his curse. He teaches you a unpronounceable release chant that will give you the power to safely dispel the sorcery that binds the curse to the guillotine. He then requests that you return to him afterwards to help free his soul. Alright, we might get lucky and fight a zombie, which might give us some experience points. We probably have the better chance to actually use sorcery against it. Nope. Not with this hand. You stumble backwards when it reaches for you and you can't complete the spell. Hopefully you won't be eaten too badly. It's just going to be damage, though. We won't take a wound from a zombie. Oh, that sucked. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. No experience points. Okay, we can turn in... Oh, we can't turn in the pianist. We don't have that one. We do have the key. Okay. Let's turn in the key first. I don't remember what happens if we turn in the key. It's been a long time, everyone. I hope this doesn't end up going bad for us. You decide to use the key that you found in the clock to free the imprisoned familiar. The key fits in the lock on the door of the cage perfectly. You twist it and hear the mechanism click open. In a brief second of phasing into shadow, Greasel Greedy Gut simply passes through the door of the cage without bothering to even open it. It looks up at you and down and tells you that it has a score to settle. It wants to accompany you on your mission. We have a companion. Hey, he gives us +1 pentacles. If a damaged bone roll would result in you losing health points, there's a 50% chance that one of those health points will be blocked while this card is in your inventory. So he makes it a little... If we fail to cast spells, he makes it so we have a chance not to take as much damage from it. He's also going to give us +1 pentacles. The Magician! +2 pentacles! Hey! Just like that, we a spellcaster now, everyone. Wonderful. We have 6 pentacles all of a sudden. Wow! Well, that more than makes up for the courage thing we lost. Let's still... That's actually kind of interesting, because as you know, I was working on improving pentacles. If we improve it up to 7, we are in grave danger of taking massive sanity loss and or dying instantaneously from things now. We'll need to be careful. Well, we'll go and play the game, and then we'll call it a session. How's that, everyone? By the way, what does this do? If you do not fail any challenge and do not win any trick points, and a random lose item card is generated while the results phase while this story icon is active. That's why we lost the courage thing. So if we don't get any points and we lose a challenge, there is a chance that we could lose anything that we have in our inventory. I wonder if that includes trump cards. You find the key, you can play the deck... what? Play deck using the key. Now that you have the key, you should be able to play the deck in relative safety. It's still going to be difficult. The game's making it tougher for us because now we have 6 flippin' pentacles. And woof, this is not a great hand. We're not likely to win it. didn't. You light the candle and go to deal out the next 2 cards, but the candle goes out. Is there something you are missing here? I don't know what happens if you fail this. Thankfully, we didn't take any damage. Again, this is a decent hand. We have 2 queens and a knight. And we've won the challenge with the first queen we placed. You light the candle, invoke the words in the key corresponding to the current hand, and you deal out the next 2 cards, the shield and the dagger. The candle flickers out, but you have a vision. No, it isn't a vision. It's an urge to deal out 1 more card. Beads of Alkahadem. +1 pentacles. Wow! What does it do? 2 uses remaining. We'll have to look at it after this. You have continued the game and dealt 2 more cards. The candle has flickered out, almost as if someone or something had blown it out. You relight the candle and decide how to proceed. You feel the need to draw 1 more card, but you hesitate. You sense that it might be risky. We'll do it anyway. You draw 1 final card from the deck. Blood. You feel faint. Your vision begins to blur, and you think that you are looking down a long black tunnel. A wave of red is approaching. You awaken in a cold sweat. You have no idea how long you have been unconscious. We have gained a tattered diary. Death, and +1 card. Death. If this card is in your inventory and you would be killed because your health points were reduced to 0, excludes instant death. During any challenge, then this card is removed instead, and your health is restored to 5. But I think this card saved our life once when we did draw an instant death, so... Okay, and we still don't have another Pentacles point, but we're going to put this into Swords instead. And I think this is a good spot to stop. So let's examine the situation as it is currently unfolded. We have drawn a second token now. And it's a chance for us to lose very important things. Like we could lose our Beads of Alchem, the Familiar, our Diary, etc., etc. We've already lost one of our heroic feats. We have not leveled up. We only got 3 experience this entire session? Is that right? No. We did increase our Pentacles once. So we've earned 6 total experience this session. I've earned a lot better, like the more experience faster, but okay, whatever, we can't help that now. We didn't earn any new edges, but we did level up our lightning reflexes once. We didn't find any new clues. We did get quite a few quests, though. We're looking to complete a few more of them. But the piano will probably be next, with our super high pentacles now. That shouldn't be too difficult for us to do. Speaking of pentacles, we have 7 pentacles. We had 3. We've gained +4, in part thanks to the trump card we picked up. The Magician's giving us +2 pentacles. The Beads of Alkahadem is giving us +1 pentacles, and the Familiar is giving us +1 pentacles. Charge all your spells to the maximum amount, and it has 2 uses. Okay, that is pretty good. Our diary, what does this do? Roll 1 bone and bump the card value up on 1 random non-face card in hand plus X, where X is the number of wands rolled, and it's used in all lore challenges. Alright, not bad. So we picked up some stuff, we lost some stuff. Our sanity is much better. We had, I think, 12. They're up to 26. 21 life. Still no other talisman. But things are looking good. We're looking good. We're looking good. We can probably actually fight the Poltergeist now with that high Pentacles score. And we might be able to use magic against the Mortician as well now. And the thing in the oven. And I'm thinking we'll probably have to take Investigative Expert next. Or something that increases our wands and cups. That's probably my next specialist card. Anyway, I'm babbling. Thank you all for watching. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.